They got the mustard. They got the mustard.
Hi Courtney, it's Sunday and 8 o'clock, which means I'm going to be posting this video very close to my weekend deadline. But you know what? I'm gonna make it. As promised from my last video, I made a list. See? It's got stuff on it and everything. Now, admittedly, it's not a very good list, but I figure it'll get better as time goes on. Like, eventually my lists will be, like, so great that only, like, monks who have studied for, like, 100 years can look at them without their, like, eyes boiling out of their heads or something. So, that's what I'm shooting for. So this video comes in 3 main topics that we will separate into segments that we will call, I don't know, parts? Part 1. It tells me on my fancy little list that part 1 is to talk about stars. So this weekend was a stars weekend, and we had rehearsal this Saturday, which went really well. So one really funny thing that happened this rehearsal was that we started blocking, and we got through about the first 14 pages of blocking, in which the Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Lion are all introduced. So when the Scarecrow's introduced, his limbs are all wiggly and wobbly like jelly because he's been up on the post and his limbs are all made of straw. And then the Tin Man comes in, and he's all stiff because he's been rusted and he's made of tin. And it's such an odd group of people. Part 2. Part 2 on my list is to tell you about the catapult I'm building this weekend. So we didn't think it would be very hard. Once we figured out how to plan it and got all of our supplies, it was just sort of like, put it together. But then we started to put it together, and it was so freaking challenging. It was so strange and frustrating. And then eventually we got the whole catapult built, everything was put together and ready for launch. So we took it out into her backyard, and we pulled it back and had our bungee cord stretched out far, and released it, and our arm that our catapult was on snapped in half, and the ball went flying out way past 10 meters where we needed it, but our arm was completely broken. We started back up again this morning, and we got a medium-sized piece of wood and secured it real good and put lots of cushioning on it, and finally got it to work. Woo! Part 3. Part 3 on my list today was Tech Call, because after all of that work on the catapult that I just told you about, I had Tech Call today at 1. But now it is Sunday night, and sad as this may sound, thank God it's Monday tomorrow, because that means I don't have to deal with the weekend anymore, because weekends have just become way too stressful. That is the end of our parts for this video, but we do have one last thing to get through before I'm allowed to stop filming and go back and edit this. And that is the goals! The goal for this week is to get better lighting, because this light I have here right now, it like sucks. It falls down and it makes me look really pale, and I'm not that pale because you've seen me in person. I'm a little pale, but I'm not that pale, and I have to adjust it all the time. I promise to have better lighting next week. This is all I have for this video because I'm worried that this lighting's not going to stay the way I want it to forever. Bye!
I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a